All right, Oli, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Pleasant good morning, and welcome to this edition of Richard's Rant. So many episodes in. It's a pleasure to still have you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the growth. And as usual, I'm wishing you a pleasant good morning, as the morning is that special, special time of the day when you wake up and everything is wonderful before anything goes bad. But sometimes, that's not entirely true. Sometimes some of us do wake up in the morning and we don't want to, quite frankly. But the waking up is usually not the issue, is what you have to do with the day. That might be the issue, really. And for that is what this rant is about. This is another attempt to do a completely free style, as you can tell, because I forgot the word style. But this is another attempt to do a freestyle rant without the too much cutting and pausing and all of that, hoping for not too much background noise. For those of us that have that issue waking up in the morning, I would like you to think, because I have that issue many a mornings, many a mornings. But what I'd like you to think, and this by all means doesn't necessarily mean it worked for me, because most of the time a coach is not a good player. But what I'd like you to try is to figure out why. Why exactly do you not want to get out of bed? To say why you don't want to wake up sounds a little bit deadish, and you may not want to die or have a suicidal situation. It might just be that you don't want to wake up. So, I'd like you to face that thought head on. Why don't you want to wake up? And as is my experience, it is because there isn't anything in the day that you would like to do. And in that regard, the vanilla or generic advice would be, well, find things in your life that you want to do. You know, you owe it to yourself. You have to get up and explore and have a whole world at your fingertips. And life is what you make it. And, well, any other platitude that you could think about. Life is 1% what is done to you and 99% how you react to it. Have a positive attitude, the law of attraction. What you think is what you get, and you fill your minds with positive energy, and you'll attract positive, and all of that semantics. But I'd like you to face it head on and decide why. Because the truth is, there are vagrants that don't want to wake up in the morning, and there are vagrants that do want to wake up in the morning. There are rich, influential, healthy, beautiful people that don't want to wake up in the morning. And there are those that do want to wake up in the morning. And there are average people that can't wait to start the day, and average people that wish the day would go away. So it matters not if your day entails traveling around the world or traveling around a jail cell. There is a reason why you may want to wake up. And for those reasons, I would like you to leave a comment. I didn't see anybody really leaving a comment. I think almost every podcast I just say, leave a comment, subscribe to the vibe, and leave a comment towards our better. I ain't seeing no damn comments except for some weird bots that leading suggest that it lead into porn, probably because it is say porn so much in it. Maybe it listening to it and it does lead. That's as close as we get. So, oh God, what they comment? No, I don't even really want to ask for more because I'm just happy you're listening. But you could, this could lead to a discussion. A talkative. That is why I sit down talking for around half an hour every so often. Because I talkative, only talk to men thing now. But I'm not on WhatsApp. Because some all is shy. Oh God, or they would have a whole conversation. I should screenshot it and put it. But no, I wouldn't do you that. You all that. My view is that you have to figure out what is it in your life that you don't mind waking up to over and over and over again. What thing, person, experience, or amalgamation of all of the above, what is it that you would like to wake up to in the morning? And that is no easy task to figure out. So, the first reason why you should want to wake up in the morning is to figure out that task. But who the ass have the finances, or the time, or the social fortitude to do that? I think it's unrealistic. Even if it is you have the money, you will be ostracized as wasting time, wasting energy, not being serious, not settling down. If you're a man, being childish. If you're a woman, well, your eggs dying. Or if you prefer your biological clock ticking, but you know, your eggs rotting. So you would have that to deal with. And for the average person listening or having these thoughts, you don't have the means to. You work to work. You work, and the majority of your money is reinvested in your job. And a lot of the times you didn't look at it that way, but let's look at it, right? You spend so much time on work. You buy stuff to occupy you on work, be it a container for food, something to keep it hot, something to keep it cool, snacks, food that you could grab on the go, eat in the car, whatever have you, things to carry it. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you would possibly invest in a little more medication. So, you have your multivitamins, your vitamin C, your energy boosters, your tonic, your nerve calmers, depending on, what situation you find yourself employed in. Eye drops, nose drops, things like that. Then, of course, you have clothes, shoes, belts, underwear, which people may not talk about, but you do. Nobody going to work in things that falling apart under the clothes because you can't be digging into your crotch all day. Is a reality for both genders. Nothing that's supposed to be contained is supposed to be falling out or swinging about or printing out, especially when it get cold. So, many of us would purchase a vehicle at some point, and what is that vehicle's main purpose? To get you to and from work. You would say it's a convenience and yada yada, but what do you do with that vehicle the most? And it's getting you to and from work, you're going to need gas, maintenance of the vehicle itself, inspection money, license renewal, And anything else that you might want to make your commute to work more comfortable, be it a music system or something like that as well. So when you tally all of those things together, you basically work to work. And many of us are no longer fortunate enough to have a lot of disposable income. That so called excess is just what is left over from bills. And for those that have children, well, you have no excess because that is the ultimate bill. And for those that don't, most of the time it goes into you, quote unquote, treating yourself, which you could probably do once or twice a month, and that's about it. And for those in worse situations where you just get paid in front of fun and you wonder if it's just where's the point in the money even touching your bank account? If you could just tell the employer where to put what so you don't even have to see it, it might make things easier for you because it's nothing really coming in your pocket. I remember once this person told me that she wasn't working for enough to pay all her bills, so she decided, fuck it. Every month, as soon as she gets paid, she is going to buy something for herself. She does not care what it is, she's going to buy it. She doesn't care the cost, she's going to buy it. Because she's the person that is working. So she's going to buy it. And however the rest hang, it will swing. And she would organize her bills and her needs in order of priority. What gets done, what doesn't. And I couldn't understand that at the time because I wasn't in her situation, especially since I was her manager. And before that, my income was sufficient, so I had not yet experienced. I didn't experience that until recently, actually. So, her purpose, her not wanting to wake up in the morning was because it had no joy in her life. She was working to pay bills and she was paying bills because that's just what life was. Rent is more than half of your salary, food, transport, and she had some educational loans, some educational investments, and that was it. That's her pay. And then you see that you would then have to fight to get whatever job you qualified yourself for. And then when you get there, you realize it's not much of a difference sometimes, especially if it's not a dream job. And the odds are not in your favor that it would be a dream job. Because at what point did you decide that this is what you like? At what point did you get a sample or experience? I mean, before you even get a flavor of ice cream, you could get a sample. But you don't have samples for important things in life, like buying a house, choosing a neighborhood, living in an apartment. At one point in time, you didn't even have samples with sex. See, this is why the porn bots on the thing. So, because you were expected to be celibate until marriage, and then you go into the marriage, and and that is your only experience, so you actually think that that is all sex is. So, I really think that, especially since we have made all of these developments with healthcare and extended this lifespan of the average person, and we don't have to get up and hunt in the bush. We might have to hunt for bargains for the stuff that we need, that maybe we could relax and figure out what we like, and then we would have that. Firstly, you would want to wake up in the morning because you are working towards experiencing life. That in itself is fantastic. And if it is you are finding a way to experience life instead of finding a way to attain the things that you think that you should, that would be a reason to wake up in the morning. And all right, let's say that you're an average person, average income, or from an average family, that sort of thing. If your purpose, now that you have reached, let's say, 18, is to figure out what you want to do with your life, and then you would make decisions based on that. You wouldn't want to leave home, assuming you have a good home life, you wouldn't want to leave home and attain a rent or mortgage. You wouldn't want necessarily to be pursuing or a permanent job or permanent qualifications. And you wouldn't want to attain responsibilities like a car, for example, or children, or even possibly a relationship, because all you would be doing is working to finance your next adventure. So life for you could literally be you open the newspaper, you see who wants what, or you take a walk down the street and you answer a help wanted sign. But nobody does that. Firstly, we go to school from the time that we could walk. We haven't even learned how to not shit on ourselves as yet, but already we are being institutionalized and forced into shit. Or, for the regular person, preschool. And then primary, and then secondary, and now that tertiary is free, tertiary is a given. So, when you add up all of that, the first 2 decades and change of your life is just spent investing in your so-called education that you're supposed to so-called be able to use throughout. And quite frankly, I think that that so-called education is just to help you work in a factory or a call center where you don't have the freedom to move about as you choose to. You're told when you could eat, when you could rest, and the amount of work that you have to produce. So, isn't that school? So, when you finally get out of that, what does the human being do? Not go right back into it because you have been conditioned. So, you get a job and then you systematically box your ass into a cell of responsibilities that you put on yourself, and then you don't want to wake up in the morning. For many of us listening to this, it's way too fucking late for us. But you could make a difference in somebody's life, be it a child, family, friend, lover, acquaintance, enemy, or maybe your reason to wake up in the morning could be for you to find a way to be able to do this now, to lighten the load, to pay off some things, get rid of some things, not your children. And maybe you could put them to work. I mean, look at the Kardashians, look at the Jackson 5. Just saying. Look at Marshall Montana. Just saying. Look at Beyonce. Maybe it's good to put them to work from children. Look at Miley Cyrus. Just saying. Yes, it have Demi Lovato too, and but anybody could end up on drugs, whether they start working as a child or not. So, and the drugs actually makes her music so much better. Although it took away some of her vocal range the last time she tried to kill herself. Poor thing. Maybe I should Instagram her. She could help me get a green card or something, you know. But I digress. We should look at those things, and I feel as though at the end of the day, the world only has so much to offer. Yes, there are things being created, but it's not infinite things that you can do. Eventually, you would taste all of the flavors, you would experience all of the feels, sounds, smells. So, what our goal is really is to find a reason to want to wake up in the morning and to be brave enough to pursue that reasoning, that purpose. Otherwise, even by your mental of not wanting to wake up, you're going to be shortening the amount of times that you will be waking up. And what is the point? The next thing that we do is we gamble the future that we have for the one that we want. We think that the only way to get out of what we are in right now is to work harder, work more, sacrifice, and then you attain what you want to get. But that doesn't make sense because you're sacrificing experiences that could make things better for you or worse, but you don't even know what you're giving up, but you're choosing to give it up. And it's also bad because it's not balanced, and it's bad because humans are inherently social creatures. And as much as you think that you are not social, it's just that you are not outgoing. But you need, if it's one friend, two friends, maybe one to have sex with and one to have lunch with, if that is all you need, but you have to find them. But if you are busy sacrificing to get this future, it's not good when you kind of attain it and it's you alone. It's not good at all, actually. It's really not good. And this one is from personal experience. Is not fun when you have no plans on the weekend unless you make them. It's no fun when the only time your phone rings or messages is for work. It's no fun when you spend days like Christmas alone unless you make something happen. But that is because you spend a set of time pursuing money or jobs, and now that's all you have. So there always need to be a balance. And the people that help you are the people that would stay with you and make it worthwhile. And the reasons for you waking up in the morning. So it's not. Well, that's a lie. I was going to say on a positive note, it's not too late. But for some of us, the truth is, it is. And we have boxed ourselves in so much, it's going to take a decade or two to get ourselves out. And then to figure out. So for some of us, we might have to stay the course. But in staying the course, we kind of sacrifice ourselves. and try to make things different for other people. And hopefully let that be our reason for waking up. You know, life really is what you make it. And right now, we are making it a quest for money, and everybody is working to not work anymore, which makes no sense. There should be a work to fun to life balance. And there are places that does exist. Example, Sweden, they pay a lot of tax, but they get paternity leave. They get maternity leave as well. They get, I think it's 2 hours of the day just for themselves. They get, all work must end at 5. After that is family time. And I love how they dealt with the coronavirus. They educated the population and tell them this is what could happen to you. And they had a bunch of people get sick, a bunch of people die. Nobody was like, oh my god, why? And then it plateaued, it reduced, and they moved on with their lives. So these templates actually do exist. It's highly unlikely that our society is going to change, having come from slavery and colonialism. We have inculcated in us that work is not supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be difficult, and quite frankly, I think if some employers could actually walk around with a whip, they would. And it's up to us to try to break the cycle, try to do things differently, and try to create that balance, at least for ourselves. And in so doing, the morning is a beautiful thing. You should always want to wake up, and you should always strive to waking up. You should always have something to look forward to in your day. It does not mean that it would always be happy, but it should have something worth fighting for. It should have someone worth fighting with. It should have something that you're passionate about. Something that you can't do without. Something that propels you forward. And if you can't figure that out for yourself, help someone else to do it. So, I thank you sincerely for listening to this edition of Richard's Rant. This one was really cathartic and a bit personal for me. Having done what I was supposed to do and started having issues with the outcome. Although I would have achieved some of it, and I didn't know what I didn't know at that time, and I don't think I would have known what I didn't know unless it is I went through all the things that I went through, which are very terrible things that I wish that I didn't have to go through to learn those things, because if someone could have just told me, it would be awesome. And I immediately thought about time travel, like if I could go back in time and tell myself, but if I could go back in time and tell myself, then I wouldn't do it, then I wouldn't have the experience to have gone back in time to tell myself about it, so it wouldn't happen at all, so I'll be undoing everything, so at the end of the day it's just something that has to be done. But if it is, I could protect someone else from it, most definitely. Sacrificing the present just leads to you sacrificing experiences that you cannot redeem. And these experiences are invaluable. They create thoughts, they create memories that get you through tough times, they create bonds that get you through tough times. I remember, because of my strict upbringing, I wasn't allowed to go to school discos I wasn't allowed to go to Coca-Cola Youth Fest. And I would tell myself I wasn't allowed to go to the movies. And I would tell myself that these things would always be there. But nah. One, Coca-Cola Youth Fest no longer exists. And I have a serious problem with that because I really never ever got to go and I really always wanted to go. Two, even if it did exist, the name of it is Youth Fest. Children under the age of 18. If I go, I will be a predator. Therefore, it's no longer appropriate. The same would go for school discourse. So you have a time and a place for everything. Do not sacrifice the present for a future. If the future you want cannot be attained with a balance between life, social, religion, whatever you have going on in your life would always not be in balance and you would always be lacking something. You will attain that future more than likely, but then you're going to need something else. And because you attain that future by sacrificing everything else, the moment you let go of it, it will start to falter. When you get something else, it will start to change or it might go away. Because you created something that demanded your full attention when you should have been creating something that could sustain you and your entire life or situation or endeavors or whatever is important to you. And the truth is that I'm yet to see someone to do it successfully that way and be happy. So this one was personal, was a bit cathartic, and I do thank you for listening. Subscribe to the vibe, comment towards our betterment. Vibes.